Hello, everyone. You're welcome again to another episode of Reading with Elsie. Today, we're going to have a conversation about a story titled Conversations. This story is not targeted for our children, and so you don't need to have your kids around to listen to this particular reading. Here it goes. Akofa was 35 years old. She had had her daughter when she was 20 years old. That was not the plan she had for her life when she told her parents excitedly at 10 years about how she wanted to be a lawyer when she was older. She was the third child of her parents, the only girl among four males. Thus, she was a princess to her parents and the captain of the house among her brothers. Her older brothers protected her and made sure she had all she wanted. They would speak to their parents on her behalf and explain to them all through why she had to have her way when it came to the serious matters and decisions. Her younger brother, Nukunu, had no option but to be at her beck and call. After all, she was his own advocate, and she was the reason the older brothers did not beat the life out of him when his mischievous acts were found out. But who could blame Nukunu for spending his leisure on mischief? Akofa was 7 years older than he was, and she played the role of a mother and a big sister more than she ever did the role of a friend. The two older brothers were always on the lookout to fix him and make sure he turned out right. His parents, well, they considered him his siblings' responsibility to bring him up. It was not all bad being with them, but for most of the time, he was in his world, thinking of the next exciting thing to do. To Akofa, Nukunu was her first baby. She was the little mother of the house, the small madam. She made sure he did his homework and completed chores he was assigned to. To her, that was all it meant to be Nukunu's other mother. She carried that thought on too long, so long it was what she thought when she had her daughter, Ceci. When she was 18, early in her second year at the university, Akofa was introduced to Oreku, her second brother's friend. Oreku had visited their house when she was on vacation after her first semester of the second year. He was simply her older brother's friend who lived in Kumasi and had come to Accra to work on a project. He visited their house every weekend while he was in Accra. By the time she got back to school from the vacation, Oreku was also done with his project and had returned to Kumasi. One Friday after her lectures, she received a call from him. She was surprised. She was in school and could not answer whether or not her brothers were home or any other questions related to home. She picked up anyways. After they had exchanged pleasantries, the conversation almost went stale, till Oreku mentioned that he was coming to visit her the following weekend. For some reason, she was excited. One visit became many visits, and soon Akofa was visiting Oreku's house without the knowledge of her brothers till she got evidently pregnant and named Oreku as the father of the baby. After all the episodes of fights and arguments between her parents and her brothers, her parents and Oreku, her brothers and Oreku, her brothers finally decided that they did not want Oreku in their sister's life and rather chose to take care of her and the baby by themselves. The issue stayed as an unsettled grudge between the brothers, her father, and Akofa, even while they still took care of the needs of her and her baby. But only for a few months, till love conquered the anger and disappointment. After deferring her program for a year to get herself back together, she went back to school, completed her law degree, but decided to look for a job right after to take care of her baby, Ceci, and also so she could move out and be by herself. The seeming disappointment and anger she felt around her at home made her uncomfortable most of the time. Living by herself with her daughter, Akofa treated Ceci with all the love she could give. Ceci was her world. Ceci received what her mother could give as well as what her grandparents and uncles lavished upon her. She still held a huge place in their hearts, and she had taken the title of the princess of the family away from her mother. One afternoon, when Ceci closed from school, her mother picked her up instead of Ceci's usual church trips home, because Akofa had closed from her office earlier than usual. Not long after they had gotten home, a friend of Ceci, who lived in the neighborhood, came to visit the young girl. Akofa decided to leave the two at the sitting room to take a nap, and also because she was sometimes irked by the shallow conversations that particular friend had with Ceci. In the bedroom, she reconsidered her move. It was better to be seated with them so she could correct them. When she got to the window of the sitting room, she heard, "Well, he said he liked me and asked me to meet him today after school. I did not know my mother would come to pick me up from school today. I would have told him to meet me on another day. I wrote his number somewhere, but I think I lost it. Otherwise, I would have called him to tell him I can't make it." Akofa stopped in her tracks. She was unsure what to do. Her daughter was only 15. Her mind began to race. What was she to do? Was her daughter going to make the same mistake she made? Was 15 not too early to be having such thoughts? Should she go in then, sack that girl out of their house and speak sense into her daughter's head? Who was that stupid boy, by the way? Or was it a man? Had he already touched her daughter? How much did she know? What had she done? She no longer could hear them talk, even though she stood right behind the window. She was in a conversation with herself now. What was she to do? What was she to say? Thank you very much for reading with me. I'll catch you on another episode. Meanwhile, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to send a comment in the comment section, and share across to friends. Catch you again on another episode, and my name is Elsie.